back to XYZ and our episode on fine print. Despite the computer and the internet, books remain our most convenient and probably cheapest source of knowledge and entertainment.
We don't know who invented the wheel, but we do know that the modern book was invented by the Egyptians when they started making the papyrus scrolls some 1300 years before Christ was even born. Some of these scrolls were so long that if you stood them up, some of them would measure more than 5 times longer than I am, at 30 feet.
The very first modern book was actually a Latin Bible produced by a German named Johann Gutenberg in 1455, not too long ago. To this day, it remains a masterpiece of design and craft.
The earliest books contain prayers, rituals, and incantations, laws and government records, medical and scientific observations, and epics that previously were passed on from generation to generation through the oral tradition.
Today, millions and millions of books are being printed, published, bought, sold, with themes ranging from the divine to the raunchy. Everything from encyclopedias to comic books, just waiting to be read, consumed, loved, cherished by people like us.
Recently, some young women decided it was time to commit their own unique thoughts to paper and get published. Our own Karen here can now influence you young minds out there with her book, On the Verge. Mwahaha. Anyway, let's learn more about that with our field report.
You do that better than me.
Nandito tayo ngayon sa Powerbooks Megamall, bookstore, kaya kailangan manahimik tayo ng konti kasi maraming nagbabasa ng libro, tumitingin ng libro. Anyway, there's a book launch, and the book launch today is called On the Verge by someone named Karen. I wonder who she is.
The launch began with an exhibit of some artwork from the book. I started signing a few copies as well as talked to people who had questions about publishing, alamat, and how I got together all that wonderful artwork. Well, so much for keeping quiet in the bookstore. Things really started rocking when the performances began. Cynthia Alexander, who was accompanied by 2 extremely talented young women on percussions, Tony and Malu, captivated the audience with her brilliant songwriting and soulful music. Next was Cookie Chua, who performed with members of Color It Red. I've been a fan of theirs for 10 years, and I was really ecstatic when they were able to perform at the launch. Some of the best young women in the poetry scene followed the bands.
In this silent distance, even the beating of your heart is eloquent, and the warmth of your hands is all that needs to be understood.
There is a space between a devil's horns and an angel's wings, a space between the slivers of rain and the rays of the sun. Between words, between sentences, between chapters and volumes, there is a space.
As I went out strutting to the mall yesterday, I was halted by a child, no more than 8, with exposed toes on his left sneaker, and a runny nose caught by his lips, a haggard palm extended with glee.
And in keeping with the tradition of breaking barriers and going over the edge, we had young man on the verge, Chuck Syjuco, read a very brave poem. I wish I could let you hear the whole piece.
The moon is still screaming its luminescence. Speak up. They can never silence you. They will never silence you. Speak up, people. I can't hear you.
After that, I said my thank yous to everyone who helped make this possible. Thanks, guys. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. Now that we've gone on the verge,
Buy books, read them, and if you don't feel like buying them, borrow them, or even write your own.
once again, congratulations, Karen.